chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about Controller Wave Iron Man. This guy came out of nowhere to be one of my favourite action figures, maybe of this year, and I don't know why. I'm just like got him in my hand, and I'm like, where did you come from? Just another Iron Man. If you told me, oh yeah, we're releasing another Iron Man, I'd be like, oh, thanks for that, said no one. And then it's like, nah, shut up, Dave. This is really good. I don't even know why, so that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time. No, that's the whole point of a review. Let's figure out why I like this figure. Because let's face it, I've been a little bit salty about a couple of figures that I definitely won't name, Speedball, Siren, etc. So why is this guy winning me back to Marvel Legends? Well, let's find out. First of all, just take a look at the box. It's all about that initial impression. Anyone in sales will tell you it's that first glance that decides if someone's going to make a purchase or not. And this, they brought in the big guns. They brought in Alex Ross, the man who just makes everything look like a 5-star Monet, Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci, just artwork, dude. It's artwork. And this guy designed this costume, so it all makes sense, it all ties in. That's why he's doing the box art that just makes it look mwah, chef's kiss. And this guy looks resplendent in that box, in that beautiful window packaging. Enjoy it while you can. Again, I lament that we're losing the window packaging, but I'm also fine with it. It's just a part of like life moving on. It is what it is, but I will miss it because action figures just look prettier like that. So the box looks great, the artwork looks terrific, and now we've got this design of Iron Man. And this design is essentially the best of Iron Man. That's the assignment that Alex Ross was given. And Lord howdy, he understood the assignment. Alex Ross was like, what's that? The best of Iron Man throughout all the years? The most awesome elements of his different armors incorporated into one design? Yeah, okay, I can do that. And he really, really did. This dude is like everything that I love about the Iron Man armor. First of all, classic red and gold. Yeah, that's quintessential Iron Man. But then there's little things, little touches that I really love. One of them is the Iron Man sort of separate kind of jaw. I love that. It's just a cool looking design. I know often he'll have like the M or the W sort of shaped mouth to differentiate that. But when it actually looks kind of like a hinged jaw, I just think it looks kind of wicked. It looks more like a robotic creature as opposed to just a blank face armor helmet, and I just think that's wicked. I think the first time I saw this kind of jaw was during the Crossing storyline, which was totally bonkers, where Tony Stark was revealed to be a sleeper agent for Kang the whole time, and they went into the past to get a young Tony Stark who came to the future and killed the older Tony Stark. It was a lot. The 90s, if you lived through it, bravo, because I was there too. But this was kind of when I first saw a hinged Iron Man looking sort of jaw, and I thought, man, it's badass. So to see that brought back in this design and have it look so pretty, I really, really like that. But going on to just the rest of the sculpt, this is all new. This is all new sculpt from what I believe. I don't think there's any reuse here. I mean, it looks a little bit like some old Iron Man armors, but this is a new version of those. I'm pretty sure, stop me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am in this instance. And it's so great to see all that work going into just one figure. Because it's so random sometimes that they say how expensive new molds and new sculpts are. That's why there's often so much reuse. But then they'll do brand new molds for the most random of figures. Like, I always cite Velocity Spider-Man and the Mark IV Spider armor as like completely bespoke brand new sculpts for the most random of figures. And I'm like, you didn't have to go that hard on that random figure, but okay. This is one that is worthy of the work put into it. I absolutely love everything they've done, just chiseling out and refining all the lines and angles to make this look like a suit of armor. It just looks great. It looks like harkening back to an old school kind of design, because that's also the idea with this storyline where Tony's wearing this armor, is that he wants to go back to basics. Take it back to basics. Terrible song. But that's what he's going for. So it isn't the kind of bleeding edge nanotech symbiote coming out of your bone marrow type armor. It is more of a shugunk, fugumph type armor. And that's kind of fun. That's classic Iron Man. I dig that the most. Now, as far as the articulation goes, it's generally good, but with a couple of little caveats as well. A few provisos, some quid pro quos. The main one being that he's got this lovely shoulder armor here, which is great because, you want the gold to break up the red, really ties the whole suit together. However, it does slightly limit the shoulder articulation. You can move the shoulders up, but you see that it actually does slightly kind of warp the plastic. The plastic has to bend to accommodate that movement, which it will do because it is a softer plastic, so that's kind of nice. But just bear in mind that the more you do it, the more that it is probably going to lose its shape over time, maybe. So be aware. This might be an Iron Man that you don't want to articulate too much in that regard. But the rest of it, the legs kick out nicely. You got all the double jointed knees and elbows. I'm not going to waste your time too much with articulation because it's boring. But the fact that you can get him in some nice poses, it's all that really matters, isn't it? Also, the torso. What am I saying? Like torso? It is torso, yeah. The torso, chest kind of swivel. Oh, that's so great. So great. No more, cuts at the waist where you get a big semicircle of like weird flatness in the waist swivel. No. Upper torso now. That looks great. That looks really good. It looks like a natural human kind of pose, twist. So good. I love that. And gotta say, Marvel Legends are doing this way better than a lot of other companies. Something I really don't like about McFarlane. McFarlane do this upper torso twist as well. But the upper torso, I find like it sits so far out from the waist. It doesn't look like it's part of the same body. This, with the Marvel Legends, it looks like it is one human body moving around. So good. So good. Really love that. Then also, speaking of breaking up the red and the gold, we got these big circles everywhere. And this I like and I don't. It's a bit of a mixed feelings here, because I think they're great in that I like this aesthetic, this idea. But they do look a bit odd if you kind of focus on them a bit too much, because they're just white. There's like a little sort of silvery kind of tint, but it almost looks like just stickers have been slapped all over it. I almost want to just like peel them off. If there was just more of a chromy, more of a silvery, more of a metallic kind of color, I just feel it wouldn't look so much like stickers. It just looks like dobs of white paint everywhere. And that's more of an aesthetic choice than any kind of fault with the figure. And again, like I'm saying, I do like it. It's a little bit odd sometimes, but sometimes odd is likable. I mean, hello, welcome to model behavior. That's kind of my shtick. It's not a shtick, it's just me, but I have to lean into it because there's no point in fighting it. So yeah, I really like what they're doing here. Paintwork, that's one other thing as well. That's one other thing that I will say, is that because it's like armor, there's not really any kind of shading or anything. There's no red paint, it's just red plastic. And similarly with this gold, it's kind of like a Karamak sort of gold. And if I'll grab my other little prop here, 80th anniversary Iron Man, still one of the absolute best Iron Men they've ever done. I feel like this color scheme on this dude would have looked so much better. It would have looked so much more badass. I feel there's been a lot of discussion recently about Hasbro Marvel Legends and the paint apps, and maybe them not quite looking the way that they would want them to, maybe in the design phase and then coming out on the actual figure. Tigra, Wolverine, they've all been like, I guess they should be that color, but it'd be a lot cooler if they weren't. So this figure with more of the shiny metallic gold, I think that would have looked way nicer, especially also then with the more shiny metallic red. I think that would just make the figure look more metal and less plastic. Because also the Alex Ross artwork that this is based on is super shiny and sheeny. So having more of a matte finish, it kind of loses a little nuance, I think. But I'm going to let that go, because one of my biggest worries about this figure before I got him was that he would look too plasticky. And actually having him in hand, he doesn't look too plasticky. But he does look more plasticky than I think he would do if he had a better paint job. But that's enough gushing about the figure. Let's do some little swaps and show some accessories. So something I love with Marvel Legends, when they come with some nice display options, extra hands, Speedball, is that, okay, you've got the fist hands and you've got the repulsor hands. So that's great, that's very nice, kind of standard for Iron Man. They know what we expect as a minimum from Iron Man. And you got the blast effects as well. And of course you can use these on the boot jets if you want, or you can put them on the repulsor hands. One thing that I do kind of like as well is that these repulsor hands, they're splayed like, you know, like he is doing a repulsor blast, but they're not so wide open that they could only be that. Like, this could be sort of a relaxed, thinking, posing, like half making a fist type hand. It doesn't have to be a repulsor blast, and I kind of like that. And then also we've got the swirly-whirly smoke effects, which they've been using a lot since they introduced them last year, but they are kind of fun. I'm still not a big fan of smoke with Iron Man. Iron Man's digital. I know he's going old school, but I just don't really sort of associate it too much with Iron Man. But still, it can break up the figure, make it look more interesting. So if you want to go that route, that's really nice. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. But for me personally, yeah, I just don't sort of fit smoke with Iron Man. Although, if you put them on his boot jets, that could kind of work more. I like the idea. If you have them in a flight stand, you sort of have that's like the air, the dust, whatever it is that's being kicked up as he blasts off. I think that kind of works. So some points for that. I'm going to play around, see what works best for him. I just want to do a fun little head swap now as well. Haha, yes, here we go. This is the head from the Stealth Iron Man, and I gotta say, Tony Stark's never looked better. This is absolutely terrific. So if you want to have an unmasked Iron Man, Tony Stark here, I think that looks wonderful. Check that out. It's really good. Actually, if you want to have some unmasked Avengers, you could put him next to the unmasked Steve Rogers, Captain America. That's really, really lovely. If they'd included an extra unmasked head like this, we would have been talking elite Marvel Legends, but we're not quite there, but he is still very good. And also then we can take a little look at this display. We'll pair him up with a few different characters. Of course, you've got your Avengers setup, which is just lovely now. Thor, Cap, Hulk, they all look terrific together. So if you got your 20th anniversary Cap and Hulk, then I think this is a better Tony than the 20th anniversary Tony, who I'm not a big fan of. So that's a wonderful setup there. Then you can see him with a few different armors and different Iron Man as well. We've got my kind of go-to quintessential Iron Man, which is my Mezco Iron Man. Love this guy. But for the price difference, for what you're paying for the Legend, actually holds up pretty darn well. I mean, Mezco is worth the money, but this Legend, like, he looks respectable, and I dig that. Then next to him, of course, like I showed, you've got the 80th Iron Man, and we got the Stealth Iron Man as well. Really lovely, lovely figures. Anyone who has like a full-on Hall of Armor, it's a pretty looking display right there, because Marvel Legends, you guys, you do make some nice Iron Man armors. I'll give you that, guys. You really do. And then finally, let's just put this guy next to Scarlet Spider and Frogman, because they do sort of team up as a misfit band for a little while in the recent comics, right before the 87th character assassination of Scarlet Spider. Also, Misty Knight is there too, but my Misty Knight figure, that's long gone. Alright guys, that is the full review of Iron Man, so let's give this guy a number grade. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10, which actually on the model behavior ranking is very, very good. The only things that would have bumped him up more would have been if we had had an extra head, extra unmasked Tony head, and also if there had been some nicer paint apps that I think would have really made him pop a little bit more, give a bit more value, a bit more bang for your buck. But I think 7 is very fair, well above average, because on the model behavior ranking, 5 is average. That's an average Legend. So this is 2 full points above. Bear in mind that 10 out of 10, you're probably never ever going to see that. So I'm a harsh judge, but that makes it kind of fun. 7 out of 10 for this Iron Man. I'm really happy to give him that score. I really, really like this guy. One of the best out of this controller wave, which so far does seem to be a very strong wave. And guys, that does it for my Iron Man review. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of the figure? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, well, you know what to do. You got to join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step beyond in supporting the channel, well, you can do. You can go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior. Toss a couple of bucks my way, helps keep the lights on. Or if you want to stay right here on YouTube, you can grab yourself a channel membership, see a whole bunch of exclusive videos, and have the power and prestige of the YouTube member icon whenever we do live streams. Massively appreciated. Or if you don't have a couple of bucks to toss my way, then that's alright, because the whole reason I do this channel, because I bloody love it. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.